Okay, in this problem here, we're trying to solve this equation where we have these fractional exponents, x to the 2/3 minus 8x to the 1/3 minus 48 equals 0. And so this is an example of what we call a quadratic type. So quadratic types are not quadratics, but they kind of sort of mirror off the behavior of quadratics. And the idea is you look at the exponent on the variables, 2/3 and 1/3. 2/3 is double the 1/3. And that's kind of your clue that it's following like the quadratic ax squared plus bx plus c. Right, the x squared and the exponent's double. Okay. And so we begin by making a substitution step. It's usually the easiest way to handle this. And so we say let u be that smaller variable, the x to the 1/3 term. And then if we do that, x to the 2/3 would just be u squared. Right, because remember when you raise something with a power to a power, you would multiply. So x to the 1/3 to the second power, u squared, would become x to the 2/3, just as we have here. And then minus 8u minus 48 equals 0. And now at this point, we've transformed our equation with x, which was not a specific type of something we're able to deal with, into an actual quadratic in the variable u. And then we could solve that by the quadratic formula. We could solve that by factoring. A lot of these will actually end up factoring, and that's actually what I chose to do here. Here I have things that multiply to be negative 48, and they have to add to be negative 8. And so that's going to be a positive 4 and a negative 12. So I'm actually able to do it by factoring pretty quickly. You could also, of course, solve by the quadratic formula if you wanted to. And then we solve these two factors. Since it's factored equals 0, we set each factor equal to 0. Now instead of u equals negative 4, I'm going to go ahead and replace the u again with what it was. X to the 1/3 equals negative 4. X to the 1/3 equals 12. And since this is an x to the 1/3, we can solve this by raising both sides to the third power. And so if you take negative 4 to the third, it would be negative 4 times itself 3 times. We would get one answer of negative 64. And then same thing over here, raise it to the third power. And we would have x equals 12 to the third, which is 1728. So now we've solved this equation of quadratic type.